Rolling.
What's up, y'all? Happy New Year, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. This podcast can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Art19, and at allthingscomedy.com. If you go to allthingscomedy.com, it's a podcast hub for some of the best comics in the world, and they have their podcast there. You can listen to the Bill Burr Monday Morning podcast. You can also listen to the Bill Burt podcast. That's Bill Burr and Burt Kreischer. And who else has podcasts there? It's just so many comedians with podcasts. Ron Funches has his podcast there. Burt Kreischer has his own podcast there. John Reap, Danish and O'Neill, Rosebud Baker, Devil's Advocate is on there. Just go to allthingscomedy.com, check it out, and I'm sure one of your favorite comics will have a podcast there. Our sponsor is onthevolleyapparel.com, and if you go to onthevolleyapparel.com, they have men's tees, tanks, hoodies, jerseys, and hats, and women's tees, tanks, hoodies, jerseys, and hats. Use my promo code ComicRant, and you get 20% off. And they can also outfit your local soccer team. So go there, check out the gear. They have hip-hop soccer emblems on the front of their gear. They have some interesting, beautiful, dope-ass designs. And use my promo code ComicRant one more time. And I'm going to introduce our guests for the first show of the year. It was the same guest who ended the last show of the year. And want to give a shout out to and introduce Lee Hudson, Southampton fan and comic from England. What's up, Lee?
Yeah, all good. Definitely after last night's game as well.
I know, right?
I want a high.
You should be.
Thank you.
Did you cry?
No, I didn't go as far as Hasenhüttl did.
Yeah,
but I felt the emotion.
I thought somebody was going to put James Brown cloak over his back and carry him off the stage, like, please. But yeah.
Like Klopp walked up to him and sort of like went to like shake his hand, and he just didn't even register him.
Damn. Next guy who's not so happy, shouldn't be so. He's so unhappy.
I'm happy. I'm happy.
I'm not. He's so unhappy. He's wearing somebody else's shirt. He's normally wearing some Chelsea gear because that's who he supports. But he's comic from San Diego by way of India. And just give it up for Neil Chakravarty, yo. What up, Neil?
Well, thanks, man. I guess it's just missing Hazard a little too much. So yeah, I have my Hazard 10 Belgium jersey on.
They're both missing each other. That's a great excuse to wear another team's jersey. Like, find out what country your best successful player was from and rock that shit. All right, that's smart.
Change that every 3 years, yeah.
Every 3 years. And Martin Harris, author and writer. You see some of his articles in 442 magazine. He does voiceover artists for video games, some of the most popular video games out there. You've probably murdered him in it. And if you haven't, you should. And you see him in the movies, in front of the camera, in movies like The Hunt and some others that I can't remember right now. But Martin, and he's a Spurs fan, and he should be happy right now. What's up, Martin?
Hey, man, very, very happy. Happy for multiple reasons, because our future coach won yesterday, and then our present coach won today.
Oh my God, the poaching's begun early today.
Your future coach?
Yeah.
And who's your future coach?
Hasenhüttl.
Oh, damn. Wow. So you don't even give a damn what Mourinho's doing right now. He just got you to the EFL Finals.
Yeah, that's what I said. Our present coach is doing great, and our future coach is doing great. So it's a double.
Man, you guys really talk like you're the worst fans. You're the worst fans. That's all I can say. So I got a list. We're going to go through it. And Lee's here. And I just want to ask him how he felt about watching Southampton beat Liverpool 1-0. And Danny Ings Liverpool testimonial game. Like, how did you feel about that yesterday?
I mean, when we went 1-0 up so early, I didn't think we could probably hold on for 90 minutes, but I'm glad we did. It was a great goal, little training ground routine on the free kick.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool thought it was going to the back post where the centre backs are going to attack, and clever little free kick. I think it might have been a cross from Ings. he said he's not even sure. But
that means it was.
I got a little bit nervous, but we never sort of. I think we still had more shots on target than them as well. Like, we never looked like we were really hanging on. It was a little bit backs to the wall in terms of possession. But I mean, I had a little bit of confidence when I saw the team sheet for Liverpool, to be honest.
Oh, you did? What about the team sheet that gave you that much confidence?
Henderson at centre back.
Right. So that's my thing. I guess I'm going to cross-pollinate like questions right now, because people are saying defensively, Liverpool are not having trouble. It's offensively, even though most of their injuries are in a defensive area. But I disagree. I think because of their defensive injuries is why they're having offensive problems, because they have two of their best midfielders who normally help defend and also help with the offense. Those guys are now playing defense, and Liverpool, like, they create from the outside, but sometimes, when you're a champion, you get goals created from everywhere. And you got two guys who can score goals, because Fabinho scored some amazing ass goals. And even the other day, Henderson scored a beautiful goal. And he's good in the middle. He can stop attacks and turn the gun on the attacker. And now he has to play in a position that he's not used to. So I feel like these injuries have interrupted Liverpool's spine, and these defensive injuries is actually stopping them from scoring more goals.
Yeah, well, I said last week that they were missing Thiago in the midfield, and I mean, they got him back, but I think we were quite smart in our approach as well, because we started the game pressing quite high. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, we sort of sat off a bit and decided to defend our own half a bit more. I think the game plan was pretty spot on from Hudson, because we were missing players too. I mean, our goalkeeper Alex McCarthy had COVID, so Fraser Forster came in. Vestergaard's injured, Romeu's injured, so we had players filling in on the pitch as well. Che Adams was injured too, so we were missing some key guys.
I mean, it's been a pretty impressive season for you guys. Anybody else want to jump in and comment on that game?
I do. Well, it gave us hope for 2021. Generally, the start of the year is giving us hope for a variety of reasons. First of all, we hope this will be a better year. But Liverpool losing at the very beginning gave hope to other teams, because it's pretty open for everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if City wins it at the end, or even United. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys win it at the very end. I would be very surprised if Chelsea wins it.
Good point, Martin. Thanks for the assist, Lee. From Southampton on Manchester United winning the title. I appreciate that.
I still think it's Liverpool and City are the favorites, because I think Man U will drop points at some point. There will be in the crisis, just like we did. We had our crisis, and Chelsea's in a permanent crisis.
Martin, I think we already had our crisis.
Nah.
We had our crisis when we lost to you. We lost to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it's one game.
And we barely beat Brighton Hove when we got kicked out the Champions League.
Yeah, but you were against two teams that finished top 4 in the Champions League last year. So as much as it was a disaster at the end, you still competed against teams that had a better track record last year.
That's why I don't necessarily consider it a disaster. I just think everybody's just overlooked that conveniently.
Yeah. I mean, Ian, I agree with you. Overall, it's not a disaster, but the way it came out at the end, the way it happened, it was just very unfortunate.
Martin, is it a disaster or not a disaster?
It was the disaster finish, but not the campaign. The campaign wasn't a disaster, but the finish was, yes. So not the result, not the outcome. The outcome wasn't a disaster, but just the way it happened at the very end. However, listen, the disaster for us was losing to Leicester at home or dropping points against Wolverhampton. So all teams go through motions. That's why it would be a very interesting outcome at the end. But I could see potentially 3 teams being right now in very good shape to win it all, which is City, Liverpool, and United. Then maybe Tottenham behind them, and the rest is the rest.
I feel like Liverpool might look back at the end of the season and regret this this Christmas spell though, with the amount of points they've dropped. Like Newcastle and West Brom drawing those games and they're losing to us. Like
West Brom. I mean, come on.
Because if they'd have taken control in this period and won those games, like that's them clear at the top easily.
Yeah.
Right. And I also think people forget last year. I think what people remember about Liverpool last year was blowing everybody away. But Liverpool had a spell of games last year where they barely scraped by. Yeah. And like somehow got a goal out of nowhere when nothing was happening. And those were the games when everybody was like, they're going to win the title, because those type of goals come up when you're a title contender, when you can win a game that it seems like nothing is going on. And those games and those goals are not happening in those games this season. So that's why that's the thing I'm looking at the most, to think that Liverpool might not win the title, but we'll see. They're going to get some players back in defense. They're going to be able to put their midfielders back in the midfield, and we'll see what's up. You know, and then you're playing Oxlade-Chamberlain, you're playing Shaqiri, players that haven't played in a while. They're not going to be as good as Sharp. Thiago Alcantara still has to learn like what it is like to play in England. He came and played a full game after not, playing in a minute. And Trent Alexander-Arnold just had a terrible ass game. And I love the dude, but he just had a bad game.
Yeah, it was surprising to see him. Like, he doesn't get subbed very often for performance reasons.
Right, exactly. He usually gets subbed because of performance reasons and because they've already won the game and you can take him out.
Yeah, he was misplacing passes all over the place.
Yeah. Neil, what do you think is wrong with Liverpool?
I think, just to follow up on that point on Trent, I think he's one of those players which, if you look across the Premier League right now, he's probably one of those players that can, like, Trent not playing well is a disproportionate impact on Liverpool than, if you take out like one of the players from any of the other teams, because a lot of their creativity has been built around these two, fullbacks doing their business. Like, you look around the pitch, I was hoping that with somebody like Thiago, they would, they'd be able to like maybe start, compensate for that with creativity coming from the midfield. But he's also like just coming back from a long injury, so maybe this game was too early for him, because he didn't have a great game either.
Right.
I think the Southampton midfield kind of ran circles around him for large periods of the game. But I think Trent definitely, like, you can see the difference. Like, he makes that Liverpool team tick. I know, like, their front three have got a lot of flack lately. I think since that, since that game versus Crystal Palace, they've had, I think, 1 goal scored from 44 shots between the three of them. And, that's definitely not standard that we've come to expect from these guys. But I feel like, if there's no creativity in the team, like, you see, like, even this game, Liverpool got into a lot of good positions, but that final pass was always missing. So forget about the final shot. Like, there was no crisp passing even to get to those. I mean, I guess the biggest chances in this game were those 50-50 penalty calls. Which...
All right, so that goes into our next thing. Should Liverpool have gotten 1 or 2 penalties? I say 1 for sure.
Yeah.
Lee, what do you think?
I agree. Like, I don't think the handball one was
right.
I think his arm isn't out. It's like he's gone to block the shot, and you can't remove your arms.
Right.
So yeah, I think the other one could have been given, but I don't think the handball one was.
The Walker-Peters one could have been given.
Mm.
Yeah. So that leads me to my next question. So Klopp is complaining about penalties. So there's, Man United fans are saying that there's an agenda against Man United, especially since we started winning. We're tied at the top of the table, but not in goals. Liverpool have the lead in that, but we also have a game in hand now because of the loss of Southampton. So, they're saying that Man United. So let me read this thing.
Let me just add something to what you just said. I had the same feeling, and then I checked that actually Leicester City has by far the most penalties this season.
10 penalties this season.
10 penalties this
exactly.
season. And everybody's talking about United. There is
an agenda.
There is a narrative that United are getting all those penalties, but they're actually like fourth, I think, in the number of penalties.
Right.
I think they were second. I think United had 8.
Second?
Yeah, I think United had 8. I think it was Leicester 10, United 8.
Yeah, Leicester by far number 1.
Right, exactly. And there was a penalty or two we probably shouldn't have got. There was last year, the Bruno Fernandes one against Villa. But this year, the Pogba one against Douglas Luiz, that was definitely a penalty. Like I saved photos of the clip that they showed on Match of the Day just to send to a friend, because I just knew I was going to hear about it. And my Villa friend was like, before the match started, he has a WhatsApp group, football group, and he texts them, "What time do you think Man U's going to get their penalty?" and we did get a penalty, but if you don't foul us, we might not get that penalty. I'm not saying we won't get one.
I guess the question here is, like, you see a lot of these 50-50s that are falling in. I don't think like the Pogba one was a stonewall. Like some of the same exact thing will not be given another game, and then VR won't overrule it. I think a lot of the frustration that's happening is because it seems that one team or a few teams are getting a lot of these 50-50s, and B, there doesn't seem to be any clear message about what VR is supposed to do. Is VR only supposed to overturn clear and obvious errors, or even drive it down to the nail, and if you find like even the slightest bit of contact, you actually overrule it? Because that seems to keep changing from game to game.
Right. I think the Pogba penalty was a stonewall penalty. Stonewall meaning definitely a penalty, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but yeah.
I know you don't. I know you don't agree with that, Chelsea.
Hey, if anything was stonewall, okay, but we'll come to that.
Yeah, we'll come to.
There was a penalty in the Chelsea game where Harry Maguire had a doubly strong hold on Aspilicueta.
Yeah. You didn't get that.
That was a rugby tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, if you're only picking on United, why are you picking on United when Leicester has more?
Because nobody cares about Leicester. That's the truth.
Or is it nobody cares about Leicester, or people hate United more?
No, but you have to get used to that. Like for the longest time.
No, I love it.
Even if you see, like before Manchester United became a thing, it was Liverpool, because Liverpool were the top dogs.
What about Spurs Varpool?
Yeah,
what about Spurs VAR?
What if Spurs ever in the history of the game become competitive and become threatening again? They will. they will have the same calls too, and and I think a lot of teams at the top, like I remember Chelsea for the longest time, always the action of hate on a lot of things, and when you are at that level, and opponents are threatened by when you're at that level and opponents are rival fans, especially, they're threatened by
so you. So you're admitting that Man United is at a certain level above everybody.
No, and so then of course, you can't. The table doesn't lie.
Sounds good to hear, man. Music to my
table ears. Doesn't lie, and it might change tomorrow, but right now, right. You guys are at the top, or joint top, as Guy Neville would put it.
All right, so you're a Chelsea fan, and my question, and you lost this weekend again. You got kind of thrashed, and Hudson and made the score look kind of respectable at the end. Is Chelsea the new Arsenal?
No, it's way worse than Arsenal. Arsenal don't have that much money, and they're not really big spenders, although they made some big spending mistakes. And there are different set of expectations for Arsenal, which is actually doing well at the moment. after finally they did what they had to do and they were supposed to do with playing young players. With Chelsea, it's a big mess. It's a big fat mess right now, and I think Frank might not survive it if it continues like that.
Well, there's rumors today that they're going to look at Andriy Shevchenko.
That was I don't even know if that's so left field that even for Chelsea.
So he failed as a player. He failed as a player, and you're going to appoint him.
No, but he's very close to. I think the only credible part of that is
the Abramovich.
Very close to Abramovich.
So. He's Abramovich's all-time favorite player.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just too left field. Even for a guy who appointed Avram Grant, I think even this is stretching.
Whom I know, by the way.
I wouldn't rule it out.
I know
Grant had a high winning percentage for Chelsea.
I know he took Chelsea to a penalty kick away from their first Champions League trophy.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I spent New Year's Eve with Avram Grant once. He's buying properties in Poland. He's a closest friend of one of my good friends. Really nice guy. He doesn't really want to. He's so rich. He doesn't really want to coach anymore. But
does he have a few months free on his schedule?
Could happen. He's very, very, very close with Abramovich. Very close.
I think his last job was Ghana, wasn't it? The national team of Ghana.
Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah.
No,
so he hopped around in the English football system for a while. Was it Portsmouth? Or...
He invested in properties.
And West Ham as well.
He did a lot of big deals on properties and made a lot of money, so he's fine.
Neil, are you done with Frank?
No. I'm completely frank. See, I really don't feel. I mean, to be very honest, and this will look really bad.
No,
I genuinely.
It's not going to look as bad as Chelsea's playing right now. So go ahead.
But that's my point. I don't really feel that we're playing that bad. I feel like we've had, in terms of playing badly, we've had two bad games this season. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think it's more of a mentality thing. Like even if you see the Arsenal game and the City game, we start off decent. You know, we get into some good positions and stuff.
You were 2-0 after 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it was 27 minutes, but go ahead.
But we're also, the game doesn't start at the 20th minute, right? So the problem is like the moment something goes wrong, we capitulate. And I have a feeling that's more of a mentality thing than just a skill set or a setup thing. And this is a worry that I've had for a while but I thought this will show up in the second half of the season as, the season starts getting very on the players and same players get a lot of minutes under them. Because if you look at on the pitch right now, there's not a lot of on-field leaders. Like our senior players, Kante, he had a horrible game, but even in his best games, Kante is not somebody who speaks a lot. Thiago Silva doesn't speak English. Azpilicueta is probably the only guy, and even he is kind of like just getting back into. He's been outside the playing 11 for a long time, so I think there is a definite lack of leadership, which is where I think somebody like the manager has to really compensate for that. Which I mean is something that you can fault him for, because management is not just about setting up triangles and trying to find the neatest path into goal, but some of these man management things, getting that right mentality before a game, having people not completely lose it and still stick to the game plan is something that Lampard can do better at. But if you look at, on the other hand, if you look at how we've come out, the second half against both Arsenal and City has been relatively better. So there is definitely some instructions going out at halftime, which we are not able to communicate and manage in game. So. But I generally feel the way City was this game, I think there's very few clubs in the country who can survive that.
Well, you're making it sound like the score is coaching Chelsea. Whatever the score is, if it's 0-0 when it starts, they don't start. But if they go down, then when they go in the locker room at halftime, then they'll pay more attention to what the coach is saying. Oh shit, he was right. If we don't do this, They will score on us. Let's do it now.
I mean, it's just speculation, right? But I'm just going by, what we see. And I see a team that completely loses its marbles when something goes against against the run of play.
Well, what was shocking about Chelsea, even when they won some games, I just never really seen this before. But Werner, who had a decent start to the season, there were some goals, opportunities that he missed. And when he missed them, and this is in games that they won, he really put his head down. He really got frustrated on a level I never seen on a player before. And then now it's affecting these games. And I had the conversation with you before, like, like Pulisic needs to play where Pulisic plays. Werner needs to play where he plays. And now that you got Ziyech back, he can play where he plays. So, maybe
but that's what we played against City.
Right. When I saw that lineup, I was like,
against Aston Villa too, yeah. Pulisic did play on the left. Yeah.
He did play on the left? All right.
Yeah.
All right. But I still think overall you guys would be better. It's just your chemistry. Your triangles are not.
Yeah.
You're discombobulated. It's not smooth. But I remember Man U being a frustrating team to watch as a fan. And it's just time. You guys need time. I just don't know if they're going to give it to Frank.
I mean, I've been very confident of the fact that if we don't get top four, Lampard is going to get sacked. Because that's just the way things are. I highly doubt something is going to happen in the middle of the season. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if the results don't come, Champions League money is vital to this club. Like all the spending that we guys talk about and stuff is happening only because you have that Champions League money coming in. Again about Pulisic playing where he has. I think we've had like extenuating circumstances due to where Pulisic could not play on the left. But, he's playing there on the left 2 games now. And the end product, I think Pulisic in Project Restart versus Pulisic this season, the biggest difference has been his lack of end product. Like he's gone now 700 minutes with just 1 goal. And so that's definitely a cause for concern. And I wouldn't be surprised if both Pulisic and Werner take the bench in the next couple of games. Because on the other hand, you have both Giroud and Tammy who are scoring way more than Werner. And you have Callum Hudson-Odoi, who's every time he comes on, he looks one of the most bright players in the forward line.
I just want to give a shout out to Zach Effens. That's his name, the City goalkeeper? He's American.
Zach Steffen, not Zach Effens.
Zach Steffens, yeah. That's why I questioned it. But also, as far the one last thing about Chelsea. Now, your goalkeeper, Mendy, I do think he's better than Kepa, but I don't think he's a Premier League winning goalkeeper. And so you still are going to have goalkeeping problems.
He's learning from
Possibly.
Kepa.
He did make a mistake on that 1 goal where Thiago Silva kind of puts in he doesn't put in the tackle because obviously it would have been blocked. But I feel he narrows the angle down enough for Mendy to stop that at the near post, but he doesn't. So
I think what happened was a language barrier, like Frank Lampard gave to Mendy tapes of Kepa and said, do not do that. And I think he understood do that. So that's what
I think people like me have gone on enough about Kepa on social media that there's nobody connected to football left, who's still ambiguous about they do not follow Kepa.
Hilarious. All right, let's slide down. Just slide down this list and let's slide down the table.
Let me do my Chelsea take before we do because
all right. Sorry, Martin. Go ahead.
Okay. So here's the thing with Chelsea. I don't think Frank knows what's his best lineup is. I don't know if he thinks who are his best players. I think you guys are not starting the games well, in my opinion.
Can I just stop you there? I'm going to let you finish.
Yeah.
Everybody says that.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
But it's fine for a coach who just got brand new players to not know who their best lineup is. Like, part of the season is figuring that out. So how is this some profound statement? Like,
So
Solskjaer's
here's
just
the thing,
figuring his.
let's break that
It's like-
statement.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay.
So there's not clear way. I see he knows how to utilize all his offensive players, and in the back he's also not sure what's the best setup. So that creates a lot of uncertainty, and moving players from through different positions. That's what Ola used to do, and he finally kind of changed his.
That's
ways
not true.
and
You're
finally
lying.
produced.
You're lying, Ollie.
lying?
Our lineup changes every game still to this day. Don't use Ollie to justify what you're saying. What you're saying is not true.
No. I'm saying that he used to do that and it didn't work.
We still
not as much as you did.
He did it, and he's been doing it, and it's where we are now because he's doing it. The lineup we played against Aston Villa, he has not played that lineup anywhere else, and then the lineup before that is different. That's not true. I'm a United fan. I follow all their lineups. I don't agree with all of them, but he changes his a lot, bro. That's not true.
I think you get a bit of rotation this time of year anyway because of the amount of fixtures as well. So that might account for a bit of the chop and changing at Chelsea, especially.
Yeah, I mean, let's just break that because I keep hearing that a lot. So when you talk about the 11, right, our goalkeeper and our back four doesn't change, right? Aspilicueta is playing now because Reece James is injured, but our goalkeeper and back four doesn't change. Mount and Kante don't change. So that's 7 players out of 11. Ziyech, whenever fit, plays on the right-hand side. So that's 8 out of 11. Now, on the left-hand side, Werner has been playing on the left when we've had like both Pulisic and Hudson injured. So I think what you can say is, and Havertz started, like Lampard Havertz is in Lampard's best 11. He hasn't performed. So, that's not that's not Lampard not knowing what his best 11 is. If the backup guy Kovacic has to come playing, if Havertz hasn't had a great time settling into Premier League. So I think technically what you can say is Lampard doesn't know who his best striker is. It's not a best 11. I think 10 positions are pretty much secured, and it's what there's a lot of consensus about those 10 positions. It's just that, do you go for that guy? Do you continue to play Timo Werner through his bad form, or do you stick to somebody like Giroud, who's got a great scoring record this season, or you stick with somebody like Tammy, who's got a great scoring record this season? So that's where the dilemma is. I don't think there is a dilemma about the rest of the lineup.
And Martin, sorry for coming at you like that. I just get sensitive when people try to use Solskjaer or Man U as listen, Martin, I can't tell you who our lineup will be versus Man City tomorrow. And then when we get back to the Premiership game, I can't tell you. It's it's just, he switches it around, and I think people have accepted that he switched it around now. And as far as, Neil told me something about Lampard that you're not saying in this conversation. And there is a partiality to what Martin is saying, that he's right, because you said to me, Lampard doesn't go with his instincts. And lately, and he doesn't trust his instinct. And it's like, he might feel he should go with Giroud, which Martin is probably right about, but he's like, I want to get these young players in because we paid them, but he probably should go with Giroud, and he's probably fighting his instinct to do that, to be honest.
I think I've seen that a fair bit, and that is something I can definitely put down to an experience, because if it's an experienced manager, they can look back at the track record. Okay, this is what happened to me so and so season. I did what worked then. He doesn't have a lot to fall back on. So I don't think it's just tactics and formation, but it's about this whole second guessing thing. And that's in any walk of life, right? When you're new and you're early, a few setbacks can have you second guessing. The first time this was actually seen was last season. Fikayo Tomori had a great start to life as a Premier League centre back, but there came a period sometime in December where he made a few mistakes, but then he got completely benched, and he's not made it back yet. Tomori was a Lampard guy. He played with him under him at Derby. He won Derby Player of the Year. He and Mason Mount came with him to Chelsea, and there was a period where Tomori and Zuma were getting clean sheets, conceding very few goals for like a 10 to 12 game period. But the moment the mistakes happened, he was so quick to go back to tried and trusted experience. I think that was a wrong move, and I see that even now, like the whole time with Giroud Werner thing, for example. Havertz has, he's not played well, but I would still think somebody like Havertz, the kind of quality he has, you give him a few more minutes off the bench.
But let me ask you about Havertz. He apparently had a very bad coronavirus experience. That's what Yeah. Okay, so that's justifiable. If he had a very bad reaction to coronavirus, that's understandable.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I just wanted to keep it moving so we finish on time. But there is one thing Neil said that he's right. Neil, you're right. It's not that he doesn't know his best team. He doesn't know his best striker, or he's like
even one more thing about this whole trusting is interesting. Billy Gilmore last season, he came in. I don't know if you guys recall, there was a time when Chelsea were faltering right from December to January, February. The turning point was Gilmore playing in the FA Cup in that, because we didn't have Kante.
Against Liverpool, wasn't it? He got thrown in,
Yeah, because like Kante was injured. So we kept playing Jorginho, and that just wasn't working. And then Gilmore came in, and we did. He was man of the match that game. And the following weekend, we played Everton, who were having a little bit of the Ancelotti bounce at that point. And we beat them 4-0. Gilmore again, the best player on the pitch. And he kept, and then there was obviously Project Restart, and he played a few games after that, but then he got his injury. He's come back now, but now that he's available,
this is too much.
Sticking to Jorginho.
Listen. Chelsea don't even pay this much attention to Chelsea. We have to move on, or they'd be doing better in the table. Sorry. So transfer window's open, right? I don't want to stay at the top of the table. I want to spread the love around. Sheffield United is at the bottom of the table. They got 2 points out of 2 games. Who do y'all think they should buy? Martin, you could go first. And then after you tell me who Sheffield United should buy, tell me who you should get, your team.
Sheffield United should get Serge Aurier.
It's stupid.
No. Let's scratch that. No, like somebody like David Luiz, probably from Arsenal on loan. Somebody maybe like who could be on loan from Chelsea? Jorginho maybe. I don't know.
They already
a couple
have
of proven veterans, that can help. Maybe keep them up. But I don't think they have any chance. I don't think. To be quite honest with you, they should probably rebuild. Looking forward to playing the championship at this point, because having only 2 points at that level. At that point of the season, I don't think it's salvageable. Even if they get Messi and Ronaldo, I wouldn't be sure if they stay up.
Hilarious.
At this point. No, seriously. It could be taken as a joke, but quite seriously. Do you think Messi and Ronaldo now would
they could. They'd save them.
2 points.
Nah, because they're not getting blown out. The games are close. So I think they just need a scorer. Like Diego Costa's free. Right now.
Diego Costa.
But who do you think you should get, Martin? Transfer window's open. Who do you think Spurs should get?
One more midfielder, one more creative midfielder. I know that Eriksen is not an option.
So that Mourinho could put him in defense?
No, just to give us options. Someone like Sabitzer, probably. Maybe one more flexible defender, because Davinson Sanchez today against Brentford again was very, very bad. He got his chance to prove that he should play, and he proved that he shouldn't play. He got outplayed in one situation that I think Brentford almost scored a goal, or even scored a goal that was disallowed. It wasn't very good performance from the Spurs, but we managed to win it, and we're in the final of the Carabao Cup, which is one step away from winning a trophy, which is great.
Said with such pride. All right, Neil, who do you think you guys should get? If anybody. Declan Rice?
Get it. Don't overanalyze the situation. He's been a long time. He's been a long-term target. He's been scouted, vetted. Just pay the money.
With you guys.
Yeah. Huh?
He started with you guys.
Yeah, he's Chelsea through and through. And he's actually more Chelsea than any of
Actually, he's
even
West
the
Ham
guys.
through. He's
No,
Lampard through and through. He started at West Ham, and if you get him,
No. He
on the
was
left.
in our academy from the age of 6 to 14.
Mm-hmm.
His entire family, going back a couple of generations, are all Chelsea. He recently changed his agent back to his father, who is a season ticket holder at Chelsea.
Mm.
This guy is destined to play for Chelsea. And we
you think
need
that-
like his profile.
But why do you need
of a player.
Declan Rice when you have Gilmore? I feel Gilmore is way more skillful.
Gilmore's way more. Gilmore's more skillful, but I feel Gilmore can also be used as a 8. But as the 6, as a DM, we use Conte there, and the kind of issues Conte has had with this body the last couple of years, we're running him to the ground right now. And the moment we don't want to play him, our next option is Jorginho, which I don't want to go down that route again. So. I mean, this guy he's had a lot of Premier League experience behind him. Another thing that we are speaking about, on the field leadership, I feel he can definitely add to that. He's been, I think, since Mark Noble has been on and off, he's been West Ham's captain for almost a season now. So I think he can definitely add some value there. He's versatile, can also pitch in at centre back if needed. The fact that all of these things coming together, the only impediment is the money, which is going to be a lot. But, we're talking about somebody who can play in midfield for 10 years.
All right. Lee, who do you think the Southampton scalpers should get?
Nobody. We're all good. I think to be honest, we're pretty set for most of the positions, but I think we need a backup for Bertrand because he's our only left back at the moment.
So you don't think there's anything that could improve you guys to make you a better starting 11? Or this is just Southampton mentality? We're doing so good, better than we expected. There's nothing we don't want to.
I don't think there's anyone. I don't think there's anyone that we could realistically go and buy.
One guy. No, there's one guy available. There's one guy available. Listen, Lee. There's one guy available. And I'm going to ask
Don't say Serge Aurier.
No, not Serge Aurier. No, this one is not a joke. This is actually serious. So Inter Milan made Eriksen available. I don't know. I'm for sure he won't go to the Spurs again, but he's pitched to West Ham. He's pitched to some other...
to
Aston Villa.
Our wage structure's too rigid for that. We won't pay what he wants.
Would you take him, though?
I'll take him as a player, but we won't pay. I don't think we need him at the moment either.
Would you take him, Neil?
Eriksen? No, not really. I think our problems aren't in that area of the pitch.
I'm going to tell you, and I don't know if you finished.
Lee doesn't want Southampton to get too good because then all those players go next season to Liverpool. he wanted them to be in their happy spot.
But I will say though, because we need some fullback cover, and we were linked at the start of the season with Brandon Williams on a loan deal, and I think that could be a good option because he's behind Tellez and Shaw. Yeah,
Walker Peters working out great for you guys that you got.
I know Martin looks at Walker Peters begrudgingly every time he sees.
Yeah, I liked him as a player. I didn't know. I remember there was a moment when he started playing for Spurs, and everybody was saying how good he is. There was even a joke that because he started playing for Spurs when we sold Kyle Walker. So it's Walker was sold to City,
and they had the same name.
And Walker Peters started playing.
Yeah, two of his names on his back of a jersey.
So somebody made a joke that Tottenham is producing clones, and the next one will be Kane Peters and Sam Peters.
Well,
and how many right backs have you guys sold in the last couple of years? Trippier, Walker, Walker Peters.
Trippier, who got suspended for betting.
Yeah, it was. I read the article. It's like you can't. The betting is just so.
But did you see the transcript?
Yes,
they have a smoking gun.
Yeah, but it's a WhatsApp message. You say, yeah, you can lump
but still, I mean, how's that different from any conversation?
It's 20 to 300 pounds. It's not like somebody was. It's not like.
I think it's more the principle because the moment you allow it, it's gonna next thing you're gonna see is spot fixing and match fixing.
I mean, he's not that type of guy. I doubt it.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I think I was also thinking that maybe he just told his friend that he's moving to Madrid, and the friend spent money. But here he's actually asking him, "Can I lump some money on it?" And he's
He
like,
said,
"Yeah,
he
go
said,
ahead.
if you want. He said, if you
Yeah,
want.
go ahead."
It's like so matter
He's
of
saying,
fact.
like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, go ahead. He says it twice.
He should
I think
have
it's-
Smoking that.
if he should have put like no comment, winky face or something. So it's just like you can't
Exactly.
really,
And
you can't fully get like it's not blatant then.
no, and another thing is all these players go through a lot of guidance on such things. So it's not like a scenario that somebody's not completely aware of. So
I thought WhatsApp was supposed to be secure. Like I can't illegally gamble on there now if they're gonna access my messages.
I think somebody snitched because there's no other way you'd get those transcripts.
All right, I'm just gonna make sure I'm not friends with anybody Trippier is friends with because I don't need no snitches in my life. There's one more thing I want to say about the Southampton game is the irony of Ings. Like normally Liverpool would beat Southampton with one of the players that they bought from Southampton, and in this
Mane
game
would score or something.
Yeah, and in this game, you guys beat Liverpool, one of the players they sold to you. So that was a ironic flip. And then speaking of selling players or transfer window, the player I would get for Man United. Now, this is the thing I hate. Like, I'm not that creative myself, right? When it comes to like if I buy a house or move into an apartment, I want it move-in ready. So I'm not like, I don't know how to like rebuild and fix things. And the same thing with a football team. Like, I'm not that, like, I'll pick the player that everybody's saying they should pick, you know? So everybody's like, Jack Grealish, who's going to be like 80 to 100 million pounds or dollars or whatever, right? And I'm like, and I spoke to Lee about this. And it's not because of what he did this weekend. It's because of what I discovered about him before what he did this weekend. Like one day before Eze scored that amazing goal against, I forget who, in my YouTube queue, his highlight reel popped up, right? From the championship. And let me tell you something, like I've seen a lot of highlight reels and they put music to them and then they're 4 minutes long and it's only 3 plays being repeated on a loop from different angles. And Eze's highlight reel is 10 minutes, right? Of him putting the ball through the legs of every player in the championship. Like there is no repetitive play. And it's just this guy. If England ever had a chance to have a Pele, it's fucking Eze. Like this guy is a motherfucking monster who's just acclimating to the Premiership. Look at it. Go online, see what he did in the Championship. You can see why Crystal Palace bought him. And I say, Man United, don't focus on Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is great. I love him. I always want to have him. But if you want to really have a player and think out the box, get Eze. Get him for 50 mil now. Crystal Palace would have made some money on him. But when this guy, and he's starting to acclimate, but when he gets used to the Premiership, this motherfucker is going to be unstoppable. You don't want to try to buy him once everybody realizes it. So you want to get him now. So that's who I would get for Manchester United. It's unbelievable the shit this motherfucker can do. And that's how passionate I am.
You've just given him the Freddie Adu curse. Called him the next Pele.
Nah, this is like real. It's like when you see a real footballer, like you just know. You know what I mean?
But you know, we talk who we want in, but also important is who you want out. And
who do you want out?
Lucas Moura, I want out. I like him. He's a great guy. The same as Willian. They're both great guys, very Christian, which I appreciate because I watched the documentary about Brazilian national team, but it's just not working out. I would get rid of Lucas Moura. I would get rid of Sanchez, SAP. You know, like Sanchez, please go. Who else? Dele Alli probably will go to PSG. I think that will happen. I think
Pochettino.
Yeah, I think that will happen, and I think Pochettino will get both him and there's one more name being mentioned. And Eriksen, probably both of them. So I think both of them will be playing for PSG.
You think Pochettino would get Eriksen, the player that wanted to leave him at Spurs?
he wanted to leave Spurs. I don't think he necessarily wanted to leave Pochettino. He felt that after he reached a certain level there, and he hoped that he can do better. And so far, he's doing much worse. So he's in a different stage of his career. He's not as desirable as he was as the leader of the Spurs, and the Spurs are doing fine without him, playing a little bit differently. And Ndombele seems to be a more complete player if he's on his game. So Eriksen has a lot to prove because it didn't work out for him at Inter.
Right.
As it worked out for some other ex-Premier League players, especially Lukaku, even Ashley Young is having a good time there. It didn't work out for Eriksen, and he was probably.
It's working out for Man U's bad players, and it's not working out for
exactly. It's
a Spurs good player.
Yeah, you can say that he had the highest profile of them all going to Inter Milan, because Inter Milan has a bunch of they have Darmian, right? Too. They have Darmian.
Yeah, Darmian's killing it.
Yeah, all of them are doing very, very good, except of Eriksen. So he was supposed to be the best out of them, and he's not.
All right. So let me move on. We was talking about Man U, and so you know how this league is, right? Or how football is. Like everybody's like, Solskjaer's finally getting some respect, right? But tomorrow, does he have to beat City and get to the EFL Cup final? Or else will it be fire him? He can't handle big occasions again. Will the firing thing switch from Lampard? Because it's like the what's that thing? The talking stick. Like when a bunch of people have a conversation, and so they don't want people to talk over each other, they hand the talking stick to the person who's going to talk next. In the football, there's the firing stick, and it's like they hand the stick around to whoever they think should be fired next. So does Man U have to beat, and I'm going to leave first, City tomorrow?
I don't think so. I think your league form gives him almost like a free pass in this game, because it's a cup that people, other than Tottenham, care about it, but no one else does. So
no, that's not true. That's not true. You would have killed to win a cup. Come on, man. You would have killed to win a cup.
Even Lee's taking shots at.
He's out of the competition. He's bitter about it.
You know what Mourinho is like, though. Mourinho counts the Community Shield as a title, so.
He counted six as a title.
That's Ian counts it as a title.
But he's very. He never used to, though. I remember back in the day, he used to say that all these Mickey Mouse Cups. I can easily go to Germany, and even the kitman can manage.
But the Premier League is much stronger right now as a league. I mean, the cup like that matters more, and plus it gives at least Europa League next season. Listen, I need a trophy. I'm fine with getting one. I probably will play United in the final, I think, or City. So
hopefully,
but no, going back to United, I think they have a free pass tomorrow. So I think Solskjaer does.
Yeah.
I don't think unless they get beaten like 7-0.
But at the same time, Lee, explain it to me this. How come the game Tottenham against Fulham is being called off because some kitman has COVID, and now half of City have COVID, and the game is not being called off? I don't understand that.
So what are you trying to insinuate?
Well, they either shouldn't cancel the Fulham game, or they should cancel the tomorrow's game. Like you have to be consistent. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of vagueness in what exactly leads to a cancellation of a game.
Yeah, especially they canceled 4 hours before the game.
Yeah, the rules at the beginning of the game, beginning of the season said, as long as you have 14 players out of your 25-man roster, so you can have 11 players out to COVID. As long as you have 14, 11 plus 3 subs, the game should still go on. But yeah, I don't think that's being followed. But also, why it's not being followed also hasn't been made clear by the Premier League. So
yeah, because look, it's even psychologically. If we beat Fulham, and I think we would have, we are tied for the first place.
I'm not so sure you'd have beat Fulham.
I think we would have beat Fulham at home, and with the form that we showed against Leeds, I think so. Yeah.
We want to get to that, so let's stop interrupting and coming up with their own questions, Martin. The next question: is Arsenal the new Chelsea when Chelsea was winning and everybody thought Lampard was on his way? to winning with Chelsea the league? Is Arsenal the new Chelsea now that they won 3 in a row? And Martin, is Arsenal is Arteta as bad as a coach as you thought he was?
Yeah, because he didn't figure it out when he should have earlier. We were discussing that even on that podcast, what he should do, and he finally did it because he was under so much pressure that he would have gotten fired if he didn't make those changes, and he finally did make those changes. He sat players who were underperforming like Willian, like David Luiz, kind of burned out veterans, unfortunately, because I still had hope in Willian as a player before the season, but it looks he's burned out. And he finally started playing those young guys, and the guy with 2 names that we both don't know. And
Smith Rowe.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds like you're the only one that doesn't know.
You learn. I still didn't. I still have to do my homework.
How could you not after that game?
I know. So that's it looks like that a little bit of creativity worked. And most of the young players will stick by, and they should build the team around Saka, it looks like they're building the team around Saka, which they should.
He's an exciting player, yeah.
He's a special talent. They're getting rid of Nketiah, who will probably be sold to Wolverhampton. So they're thinking Nketiah, he's not good enough. And
so who they going to sell him to?
Nketiah.
Who they going to sell him to?
They're pitching him to everybody. Like anybody can pay for 20 mil and they can get him. But Wolverhampton looks like they'll pull the trigger.
That was the most exciting game of the weekend to me. It's just to watch like Arsenal pass the ball through snowflakes, through and around West Brom and glide through the snow. Like it was just beautiful. It's like, they've been out of sync. And that game, they were in complete sync. It was just Saka, Smith Rowe, Holding, and Tierney. It's just some beautiful ass football. Lacazette even joined in. It was amazing. Anything to say about that, Lee?
No, it was good football to watch. It's when it goes right at Arsenal, it looks good. And like Martin alluded to, they've cut out some of the underperforming guys. They've given the kids a chance, and it's working. But I'll reserve my judgment for. We'll see how long this form lasts. Like they've been good for 3 games now. Let's see between now and the end of the season, because they could dip off again and be terrible again. Like
one guy, I think, would probably find a place in starting lineup for all of our teams. It's Tierney. He's really good. He's really, really good.
I think a lot of the change was also enforced because of COVID. On the Chelsea game, I think all the Brazilians, Gabriel, David Luiz, Willian, I think they all had to be taken off due to COVID. But that's, it's brought a lot of freshness to the side, and they're actually playing well. It's not like the back end of last season where they were getting a few results here and there, but I don't think they were playing well at all. I think they are playing a lot more on the front foot right now, and that's paying off rewards for them.
I think
it's not an Aubameyang team anymore.
Right. I think it's like a bunch of kids that are hungry to get their start in football, who actually have skill, and the coach needs something. He has to change something up, and they're there. And so it's time meets opportunity. And there's some badass kids. That academy works, apparently.
Yeah, for sure.
Still not sold on Arteta, but hopefully it will be better than what it was. Still not sold on him. No.
All right. Yeah, we know. We know, and it's no surprise being a Spurs guy. Speaking of Spurs beating Leeds and also making the EFL Cup. How do you feel, Martin?
Well, definitely proper start to this 2021 for Tottenham. I would say Leeds created too many chances in the first half to make me that I'm 100% comfortable with everything. But the end result is the end result. In the past, we performed good and didn't get the result, like against Newcastle, which those points could be proven costly, especially seeing like other teams are losing those points as well. So if we didn't, we would have been first still. and we might be first next weekend. Whatever. It's a Russian roulette. What's happening in the Premier League? But I think there are a few things that need to be fixed. Aurier played better today. He actually had a very good save, clean save, which made me happy in the game against Brentford in the very last moment after Sancho's mistake. So that's a good sign. If he can keep Aurier under control, because he was actually playing well in some of those games this season, and he's definitely better than Doherty. Doherty had another poor performance against Leeds, and got the red card at the very end.
So now you're Team Aurier, okay?
No, I'm not a team Aurier, because listen, he's got potential, but he's very irresponsible as a player.
Potential? How old is he?
No, he can play. He's just irresponsible. He makes bad decisions at times, but he can play. He can play.
Yeah, he's he reminds me of like Bailly. Like he's been doing good, but Bailly makes mistakes too. Like mistakes you don't have to make. So Bailly has been pretty impressive, but he either gets injured or he makes some crazy ass mistake. So I know how you feel.
Yeah. I think. Listen, are we the best team in England? No, we're not. But the way the league is going, can we finish top 4? I think we can. And if we win a cup or 2 cups and finish top 4, I'll be fine.
I would ask Lee how he feels about Spurs beating Brentford, but you might have answered earlier. But go ahead.
Yeah, Brentford an impressive team. I think they're one of obviously the stronger sides in the Championship, and could have gone up last season if they hadn't lost to Fulham. But going back actually to your transfer target question, I really like their left back Rico Henry. I think if we want to replace Bertrand long term, he could be an option potentially. Him and Ivan Toney, the centre forward they signed from Peterborough in the summer, he's been scoring goals for them all season. He's a really good player as well. So it was good to see them give Tottenham a test.
All right.
I think the Leeds game was perfect for Spurs. It's totally contrasting styles, but the way Spurs have played this season with a lot of emphasis on counter-attack, Leeds is going to leave plenty of spaces behind, and Son and Kane, they're not going to mess around with that space. You can't catch them. So it went pretty much along. I think it was a perfect game because Spurs was having a little bit of a period too where results weren't going their way. I think it's a perfect game to get them going back again.
Yeah, and then Martin was saying Leeds created too many chances for his liking, but that's what Leeds does.
They're all the time.
Or to anybody. And, ask Liverpool in the opening game of the season. I think the thing with Leeds is Bamford next season, because Leeds is not going to get relegated. So Bamford next season will be an improved scorer. And he's doing decent this season.
He improved big time comparing to last year when he was the scapegoat for Leeds fans and all the pundits. They're saying that he's terrible, that he's not at the championship level. That's what people were saying, that because he's missing so many chances, not scoring goals. He made a huge improvement already. Huge.
Leeds is just so funny. It's like you couldn't pay somebody on Leeds to make a back pass. Everything is forward. You know what I'm saying? It's like just not even like somehow they find a way with no space to matriculate the ball forward. And then I think half of it is like Bamford not scoring all those chances. Is like it's when you're playing, is it tennis or you're at the baseball range and they have that thing that shoots the ball out and you have to practice your swing. It's almost like he has to practice his foot swing on like those opportunities coming at him, like they're being shot out of like a pitching gun. And I think next season he'll just be better because it's just the way they play. Like Leeds is like how sharp Bamford is that day dictates if they're gonna win the game or not. They're definitely gonna create opportunities. So
they've got other players that are growing as well. Like Harrison's getting better every week. He's looking a Premier League player now. Which he's had a very unconventional route to the Premier League as well, which is interesting. And Rafinha as well looks really good for them.
And Ayling and Phillips, and they just have some really good players, man. and just hope they have enough players to rotate to keep this energy and enthusiasm up. So I'm gonna run through the table, trying to figure out what site to put on best, and you guys can comment as I run through the table. So Liverpool is first, and they have 33 points. And the next game is Sunday, January 17th, and they got Manchester United. Manchester United is second, and they have also 33 points. And their next game is Tuesday the 12th, which is Burnley.
On the 12th, there's only 12 teams out of the 20 that are playing.
Okay.
So there's only 6 games. There's only 6 games rather than 10 on that game week.
Cool. All right. So we have a chance to shoot past Liverpool, and then they have a chance to tie with us if by the time we play them on the 17th, 5 days later. Leicester's third. They got 32 points, and they just beat Newcastle. Tottenham Hotspur is fourth, and they just beat Leeds. And everybody feels like Spurs is back in the title game, but they just won 1 game out of 5. It's not like they went on an Arsenal run, but just that 1 win has changed the argument for them.
It's more, I would say, more Liverpool losing games than us winning enough games. It's just Liverpool gave everybody a chance, like I stated at the very beginning, right?
Yeah, because I think Spurs hadn't won until before beating Leeds. They hadn't won in the league since the London derby, the North London derby, I think, against Arsenal. It was just like start of December, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
2 points out of 12. 2 points.
And is it Liverpool? Is it Liverpool dropping points, or is it Southampton gaining points? You know what I mean? So it's very insulting the way you phrase that, to be honest.
If you're Liverpool, if you're the champion, if you're a Champions League winner from a year and a half ago, whenever you drop points, you drop points. That's what it is.
Wow. All right, Lee, if you want to sit there and just take that.
And by the way, the fact that they didn't win against West Brom, I can't understand how you not win against West Brom.
Yeah, especially like the Arsenal just beat them.
Everybody beat them.
That's West Brom.
Leeds beat them. Leeds beat them 5-0 away.
And what do you think? So it's just so hilarious, like to see Allardyce being woken up in the Premier League like this. You know, let's see if he lasts. You know, he might get fired.
I don't think that they will last as a team. I don't think they'll stay up. They look terrible.
All right. Man City's 5th. They have 29 points.
Playing better.
They got three wins in a row.
Playing much better.
Right behind them is Southampton, and they're 6th. Guess who got 29 points? Southampton. And they just beat Liverpool 1-0. And you got Leicester next. Everton is 7th, and they got 29 points. Wolves is for them next. Aston Villa is 8th, and they got 26 points. And they got you guys next, Martin. Spurs on the 13th.
Yep.
I think Villa could win that.
Yep.
And I kind of hope they do. What, Martin? What happened?
No, I don't think they will. We kind of play them well so far. I think we can beat them, and I think we will.
All right, we'll see. Chelsea is in 9th. Mad money spent. How much did you spend this summer to be 9th?
247 million euros.
Damn, 247 million euros of well-spent 9th place money.
But to be fair, only about 100 million of it has been on the pitch so far.
I mean, on the bright side, yeah. But the beautiful thing is you got Fulham next. If you can't muster at least 100 million of those euros to beat Fulham.
We need to really pump Morecambe. I think that's the team we have in the FA Cup. And then get a lot of goals, get clean sheets in these next 2 games, FA Cup and Fulham, and hopefully get some momentum going. It's not looking good though.
That sounds like all the teams in the league. That's a good speech for everybody. Even Liverpool would take that statement now. West Ham is 10th. They just beat Everton, and they got what's his name back? Can't remember his name right now. Antonio. Yeah. So let's see. They're doing pretty good for themselves. Arsenal, they're 11th. And they just beat West Brom. By 4-0. They got 23 points, and they're not that far behind. They're in 11th, and Spurs is
fourth out the relegation battle
with 29 points. So it's like you're only 6 points ahead.
And one more game to play. One more game to play against Fulham. So it's 9 points technically.
It's hilarious. Leeds are 12th. They got 23 points, and Wolverhampton Wanderers, they're 13th. They got 22 points. Some people might feel that Traore is having a bad season. I don't think he's having a bad season. There's nobody in the box, namely Jimenez, for when he crosses the ball to connect with those crosses. So
he's lost his place in the 11, right? Hasn't he?
No. He started last game, and he put the ball in the box, but normally those are goals. He's creating. Now it's like, who's he crossing to? Like Jimenez and him, like it's almost like when they have those fighter jets and they lock the target in. So no matter when they fire, the missile is going to hit it. Like there's nobody for him to lock the target in with. So,
I think this is a very crucial next couple of months for Traore, because I think this is going to be around that age, around 25, when he's going to angle for that next move.
Right.
And if he did that at the beginning of this season, he was looking absolute champagne. But, it's gone a little, his stock has fallen a little bit right now. So
a little bit, but his stock it's so dependent on another player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird when you're attached. It's almost like your twin is sick, so you don't feel so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say that United should get Traore, because you guys have a vacancy at right wing.
Yeah, but we just ordered 2 youngsters, Pellistri and Ahmad. So we have to see how those do. And then we have Greenwood. And then Rashford could play over there too. It's like it's not an immediate thing. Crystal Palace is 14th. They got 22 points. Newcastle is 15th. They got 19 points. Burnley, they got a win this weekend against Sheffield. They're 16th with 16 points. Brighton Hove, 17th. With 14 points. They made Wolves drop points. Brighton Hove, man, they look good. It's just, but the last few years they've looked good, but they have no scoring. Speaking of transfer windows, they need to buy somebody who could score, and they'd be fine. Like just somebody who's sharp and can put the ball in the back of the net.
You can't rely on Danny Welbeck for 15 goals a season or something.
Danny Welbeck.
You cannot. You cannot. And he's the type of player that will trick you into thinking you could rely on him for 15 goals. And then by the time at the end of the season, you calculate his goals up, you're like, he didn't do it. But why did he look like he could do it? Yeah. Yeah, you can't rely on Danny Welbeck for that amount of goals. He shouldn't be a forward. I always say he's a box-to-box midfielder. Like he has the physicality and the agility, and he could finish for you sometimes. He's played on so many teams, and he's never, besides injuries. What about Danny Welbeck after all the games he's played on so many teams tells you he's a forward.
Well, the goals he has scored this season, he took really well. I think it was against Villa. He had a really good finish where he just chipped the keeper, but then he just doesn't do it regularly enough at all.
Yeah, that's why I think he's just mistakenly always been played in the wrong position by him or any other team that buys him. Fulham, they're 18th. damn, if you look at Fulham's thing, it's like 4 draws in a row. So, damn. So they.
I think out of all the teams in the relegation zone, they've got the best chance of getting out. I think Sheffield United obviously are done. I think West Brom will go down as well, and then Fulham need to hope that either Burnley or Brighton have a poor run of form. I think they're the teams that are in that battle.
How do you think Burnley just getting sold and now they got owners with money? How's that? It's a mid-season sale. Will that hurt Burnley or?
I don't think it'll have. I don't think it'll have too much of an effect. I think Allardyce has a pretty settled squad there. They've got Ashley Barnes back fit, who I think is really underrated. He's horrible to play against. He's just busy. He just runs for 90 minutes. And
he's Stoke. Well. Playing against Ashley Barnes is like I'm saying playing against him is like playing Stoke on a cold Wednesday in January. That's what he makes you feel like you're at Stoke.
Yeah. If you're a centre back, you don't want to play against him. He's horrible. But he was missing for most of the first half of the season, so I think having him back could be a difference for them. But yeah, I think either Burnley or Brighton could be the team that get dragged in if manage to get some wins.
I would tell you who you don't want to play as well. Tierney and Reece James can say the same thing. Tierney is a nightmare to play against.
I mean, he was to the West Brom. Jesus.
And Chelsea. He was a nightmare for Chelsea.
Will that West Brom right back ever play in the Premier League again after what Tierney did to him? He just.
But he also exposed Reece James. I think Reece James also got so exposed in that particular game.
I just feel like you're just trying to take shots at
too much. I mean, he was coming back from an injury, and he was rushed because he didn't have to. I think both Reece and Chilwell were supposed to be out for a longer period, and then got Reece back, and now he's back. Now he's out again. I don't think it was right to use him in that game.
Martin likes to act like he's not taking shots at people.
No,
when he is, no,
he's making peaceful analysis.
He was going fishing there.
Yeah, but 100%.
Looking for a bite.
I saw him put the hook and then the worm on the hook. Yeah, I saw you.
He was waiting for it too, huh?
Yeah, we saw you baiting the line, bro. And Sheffield United, they are last. They got 2 points out of 17. They are 20th. They're actually 23rd in.
I think Wilder is a great coach, though. It'd be
he'll work after this.
Would you take him? Would you take him for Frank?
No. We want to win the league next season. So we're not going to be messing around. We're not going to be messing around if we change our...
Someone pointed out there that we've had, during Corona now, we've had 3 national lockdowns, which is more than Sheffield United have points.
Holy shit. Damn.
And we have to mention that 40 players tested positive for coronavirus, according to data, right? Last week, 40 players tested positive for coronavirus. Yeah, that's a lot.
Highest so far, yeah.
In the NBA, only 1 tested from the start of the season. So it's 40 players, that's a lot.
One more point I'd make about the relegation thing. I really hope Brighton stay up because I actually think they've been playing well this season.
No, they
just have been unlucky with results.
Yeah, they've had some bad luck, for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Colin Bell, Man City player. He won pretty much everything with them, but he's out. No longer is on this earth.
Yeah.
But even though he's a Man City player, fuck it, Bell, you did it, baby. So
he was a legend there.
Thank you, legend. Anybody else got any last words? Because this is it. That's the episode. Martin, any more jabs? Any more rabbit punches?
No. I'll wait for the next one. I'm still happy with advancing to the final. We're going to Wembley. That's what Tottenham tweeted today. We're going to Wembley, and we are. Carabao, baby, Carabao.
This is what happens when Spurs reaches the final. Can you imagine how unbearable Martin's gonna be when they actually win a trophy?
I know.
God.
This is why I definitely do not want them to win. And I hope we can
Yes,
stop
please
them.
do something, Manchester.
We got you. We got you. Lee, thanks for coming
Going to
through.
Wembley.
Neil, thanks for coming. Martin, sorry for coming at you, but you were wrong as far as Solskjaer. And you're wrong for that dance. I like how you're celebrating getting to the finals like you won it.
Wembley.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron Brungardt, the producer. You're back. What up, Dad? Proud father who's getting no sleep. But you're here, man. Happy New Year. Glad to have you back. And thank you all for watching and listening. Like and subscribe. Tell people about the podcast. Thanks, everybody that listens. Respond to your comments on YouTube or wherever, on Twitter. And one love, you all. Be safe. All right. Peace.